What's going on? My name is Jake and welcome back to Gax Reviews. Now, for the first time in forever, it feels like Christmas for moviegoers. There's three major releases that are coming out on VOD this week in three different areas. The King of Staten Island, which is the film I'm going to be covering today. Brand new Judd Apatow film, which we haven't seen much from this director in the past couple years. And brand new film by Spike Lee, Da 5 Bloods. And a film on Disney Plus called Artemis Fowl. All three are going to be covered, but today we're going to be talking about The King of Staten Island. Now, before I get into it, I want you guys in the comment section below, have you seen The King of Staten Island? What's your favorite Judd Apatow film? And are you planning to check this out? Now, don't worry if you haven't seen this already. This is a spoiler-free review, so I will be being pretty light on the story. And without further ado, let's just get right into this thing. So, The King of Staten Island. Scott must learn to get his life together after his mom starts dating a new person who is also a firefighter, like his deceased father. Now, like I mentioned, Judd Apatow really hasn't been around here in a while. He, to me, is the quintessential dramedy director. He's crafted some very interesting films that handle a very mature subject matter in a smart and fun way. Films like The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up are all films to me that handle that subject matter very well while crafting very fun, very relatable characters. And he's been missing. We've seen him in 2015 with Trainwrecked, which I didn't love. I think that Amy Schumer did good with what it was, but it felt like it was missing that charm that Apatow usually has in his films. So this is his first film in over 5 years, and he casts Pete Davidson as his lead character. Now, I'm someone who hasn't really seen a lot of Pete Davidson before this year. I saw him in Big Time Adolescence, and he, to me, stole that whole movie. I thought that he was just so charming and funny, and to me, he's even better in this film. This is a breakout role for Pete Davidson, and if you haven't heard of him before, if you've seen him before, or if you've heard about it before, because he's kind of a bit of a controversial figure, I think that you have to kind of go into this without any perceptions and kind of just to look at this film and go, okay, this is this. And he is charming, he's funny, he carries such an emotional toll with this character, and it resonated with me as a viewer. Something that doesn't really happen a lot in dramedy movies, and that's that Apatow style that I'm feeling. The writing's on point. Pete Davidson helped to write the story, and you can tell because this is a very personal story for him. Doing some research on this, I found out that this is actually a semi-biographical film. So it takes some aspects of Davidson's life and pairs into this film. So in real life, his dad unfortunately died during the 9/11 attacks while he was a firefighter, and it led Pete Davidson downwards to depression. And you can see some of that similarities in these characters. You understand why Scott is kind of stalling on his life and how he now hasn't really gone over his dad's death and hasn't really handled it. And then when a new guy comes into this life, how that relationship is explored, and his relationship with his mom, who is played brilliantly by Marissa Tomei, one of my favorite actresses, and Bill Burr, who is the new person in his life, the new father figure sort of sense, and their tumultuous relationship. And it's really fascinating to explore all these specific things. And it made it so personal that it was based off a real situation. And there's that similarities made the film feel very focused, and I enjoyed watching. And it's funny, obviously, like other Apatow films. It's a lot funnier than some of his more recent ones too. It's charming, it's sweet, it's tender, and to me, it feels like that classic Apatow film. This is his best film by far in over a decade. I know lots of people love Funny People. I haven't seen it yet, but to me, this has to be his best one since Knocked Up. I loved Pete Davidson's performance in this. I loved the supporting cast. I loved what this film explored and those relationships. And for a film that clocks in at around 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it certainly feels that way, the length doesn't fully hurt it. There's a couple moments that could have been shaven, but most Apatow films are pretty long in general, and he does love to give those extra moments to make his characters grow. I think there's a couple times where the tone felt a little off because of that, and it felt like they were just adding some specific moments in there. But to me, it didn't bug me as much as I've seen some other people bugging them. And in general, I think The King of Staten Island is one of my favorite films of the year, if not in my top 10 already. And for a year that's been kind of anticlimactic, and you really can't blame the year for that, this is right up there as one of my favorite films of the year. I'm so happy that Judd Apatow is back and focused and using what has made him so famous in this dramedy style, that style that he's crafted and honed himself, and taking a personal story crafted by Pete Davidson and turning out just a charming and charismatic performance that I think is going to get a lot of talk around Oscar and Golden Globe season. and one that everyone should check out. If you're a bit hesitant going in before it, I say give it a try. Now, before I give my ratings, like I said, I want you guys in the comment section below, and if you haven't liked this video already, if you could give it a like, and I'm going to give The King of Staten Island a 3.5 out of 5. So roughly around a 75 for me. I think that this film just nailed everything that it was going for, and to me, please someone who was such a fan of Judd Apatow to see him back into this role. And I can't wait to see what he does in the future. And Pete Davidson, look out for him. If you haven't heard his name already, he's going to be in a lot of things in the future. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about the Five Bloods tomorrow. I'm going to watch that tonight, and I can't wait to watch that and give you guys a review. And then Artemis Fowl shortly after that should be coming out around Sunday. But yeah, if you guys haven't already, if you could hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for more Gax reviews. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.